Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. Welcome back to the second episode of our podcast. Obviously joined by myself, James, and also by Adam. Say hello.
Hello. How are we?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Back for episode 2 already. It seems to have come round quickly.
I know. It's been a great week in terms of the channel back up and running. In terms of the first pre-season game and the first podcast went down really well, and I think I speak on behalf of both of us when I say a massive thank you, because views is one thing, but to get the interaction that we've had, the comments that we've had, and we've also had a couple of emails about what we've been doing, including from Suffolk FA, which was really cool.
Really good to get the response from a wide range of people, not just the fans of the game as such, because there's definitely been some of them. But also the people that are making some of the important decisions in our game.
Exactly. And the feedback we got and what I received from the FA was they were talking. We had the discussion last week, which was about the sin bin rule. If you haven't seen the first episode, go and check it out because you'll know what we're talking about. But I was quite vocal in my disapproval of it.
Definitely.
The FA contacted me about it and said, "Look, do you want to come along to some of the events that we're doing so that we can try and change your mind, basically, teach you." And it's just been absolutely incredible. The fact that we've managed to reach that kind of audience already is just, it's blown my mind. Yeah, it's just incredible. It's just amazing.
I think we were quite clear last week when we said this whole podcast thing was an idea. It was something that in a way we cobbled a format together for. We sort of knew that we wanted to do something that added a different dimension to the channel, and to have a good and speedy response to something that's made a difference. It's really positive. It feels really good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's all about. It's all about engagement. It's all about it's all about having a discussion and a topic really to talk about, because it's all well and good someone just ranting off and just moaning about something, but we're actually going to take the time to educate ourselves as we go through this journey. And when I say we, I mean mainly me, because I'm the one that's I thought we were the one that's moaning. But yeah, we want you guys to get involved and leave your opinions as well. So you've done that in the first one, you've smashed it. Let's hope for the same in today's one as well. And we've got another 6 topics for you, mainly been picked by you guys, to be honest. It's not been me and Adam discussing this stuff, it's been you. And the 6 topics of discussion that we've got are 3G pitches, which is widely talked about in non-league football, pre-season prices, which I'm quite interested to talk about this one because we had an interesting tweet come in about it. The importance of social media in non-league, which we briefly talked about last week because I put out a tweet and it got a bit of a mixed reaction.
I think someone seems to want us to expand upon it, and I think we definitely can do.
Oh, definitely. The Felixstowe exodus, because we were talking about what was going on in Leiston, and someone quite rightly pointed out the same thing is happening at Felixstowe at the moment, so we're going to talk about that. Coffee and hot chocolate machines at football. This is an interesting topic, which Adam's going to talk about in a bit more detail. And trialists in pre-season.
So 5 of those topics came in off comments. Those are 5 that there was a couple more, but we found that we thought they'd be a little bit tricky to talk about at this stage, maybe. We probably will pull on some of the comments and add them either next week or in the future where we might be able to do a bit more with them. But the trialist one has come off the back, something I suggested after a tweet by Tony and Senzo, and it was actually trending on Twitter last night. So I think it's a good thing to talk about because socially it's touched a lot of nerves.
Okay. I don't know anything about this, so you're going to have to educate me on this.
I'm trying to stay all over the trends a bit at the moment because I thought it would be quite important for what we're doing.
Topical to talk about. So we've got our 6 topics to kind of go through in today's episode. As I said, leave your comments as we go through it as well. If there's stuff you want to be typing out and replying to us, then please do so. We're going to use the dice again to randomly select the first topic of discussion.
I've got a different dice rolling app this week.
Thank God, because the last one was terrible.
You didn't like the last one.
It was terrible. Right, let's have a look. Tap to roll.
6.
Number 6. Wow, okay, so we're starting off with the trialist because you've already talked about it briefly. Right. What has caused the social media trending? What has happened? Because I'm at a loss on this one, to be honest.
we all love looking at a team sheet and finding out who's playing. You often catch me at a game. I will scuttle along and take a quick photo on my phone.
Yeah, you do. You do disappear for a couple of minutes at a time.
Yeah. And I quite like just working out who's who on both teams.
Right.
It gives me someone to educate myself about and say,
okay,
he was good. Write the name down in my phone. Check and see what happens later in the season.
He was poor.
Yeah, that's the purpose of doing it, right?
Yeah,
so I've got some points of reference, especially when in the leagues, so many players seem to move around and players are more free to move.
Yeah, definitely non-league, yeah.
So at this stage of the season, players are even more free to move, and you find that people are not committing to clubs.
Right.
Yet, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So instead of people's names being put on team sheets, they're all just being listed as Trialist.
Yeah, okay.
So, which at the level that we're talking about is hilarious. Why not just jot the guy's name down? What are we hiding from people? Why can't the fans know who is trying out for the club? Why can't we get an idea of who's doing well? Well, one of the funniest tweets I saw was, it said, "This is that great time of year for Mr. and Mrs. Trialist where they can be really proud or very disappointed in their children that fly the nest and get themselves into all sorts of clubs up and down the country."
Okay. So that was it. So who made the initial tweet? Why has this suddenly gone top of trending? I don't.
Tony Insenza about 3 or 4 days ago actually was pretty cross about it. And we'll see if we can pull the tweet up on.
Yeah, we'll put it on the screen. We'll put it on the screen now.
It's basically saying that people deserve to be spoken about by their name. These people have a name. They have an important input into football. No one is just a volunteer or a manager. So why should you just be a trialist?
Okay.
Where's the... I don't understand what we're hiding with it.
Okay.
It's an odd topic, but it's one of those things where I feel like we're taking something away from the fans and away from clubs and a bit of identity away from players that hides things that we can talk about.
Okay. Can I flip back?
Yeah.
A little bit? I get why at a higher level it's needed, because certain clubs, if it's like a pre-season where it's behind closed doors or it's in a friendly where no one's going to come along to watch it, they want to keep a player that they're trying to sign on the down low. They don't want people to know about it. They just want to see how that player works, and then they'll make a big announcement, whatever the case may be. Maybe at non-league level, the player is still registered with another club.
That's possible.
And maybe that trialist doesn't want people to know that they are trialling for another club.
So we're saying that it might be something that's a bit naughty that's going on there.
I don't know. I'm not suggesting anything at all. I'm just merely saying that might be a possibility, because, maybe that's it. That might be a reason. I don't know.
I'm not really sure what the rules are around friendlies and how people... I don't even know how trials are set up between one person and another. I don't know if a manager gets a word in someone's ear and they says, "Come along Tuesday night. That's not your training night. See how you get on." And he turns up Wednesday absolutely knackered.
It could be again. It could be an uncontracted player who's kind of floating in between stuff. They don't want people to know that they are trialing with one club on one Saturday. They're trialing with another club on a Tuesday. They're trialing with another one on the following Saturday. Maybe they don't want people to know. Maybe that's why the club just put it down as a trialist, so that it doesn't look as if the person is going from club to club, not being signed by particular players, and is not
keeping their name clean a bit.
Yeah. I mean, that might be a reason. I don't know, but I get why it's done in higher level. But maybe in the lower level, maybe common sense should
prevail a bit.
You don't know. Like I said, if you are involved in a club, let us know if you've done that. If you've put a trialist in your team sheet, let us know why you've done it.
100%.
It'd be really interesting to hear, because we don't know. We don't get involved in any of that kind of stuff with any clubs. We don't know the ins and outs of a team sheet and how it has to be announced and what times and deadlines, etc., and all that kind of stuff. We don't know it. So
last night there were teams fielded with 7 trialists. So it gets to the point where you don't even really understand who's playing where and what they're doing. I saw trialist scores assisted by trialist last night as well.
Really?
Which was quite humorous, but
brilliant.
At the same time, I don't know. I just like identity in football. I really enjoy being able to track players and performance.
Yeah, and I suppose that is why we love non-league football, because we do get to know that player on a deeper level and a more personal level. So, yeah,
So just before we came on, like I did very quickly search it just to see what the current chat is, and someone had put down, "You're paying your players £50 a week, for goodness sake. No need for the big mystery."
Yeah, true.
And I think that links back nicely to your comment about at a higher level, get it. At a lower level, let's all be grown up about it and let people know who's turning out.
But as I said, let us know in the comment section about what, whether or not you're involved in a club, why you do it. That'd be interesting to hear.
Interesting first point.
Interesting first point. I kind of get it, but I don't at the same time. I'm not. Let's move on. Let's get another topic in. We've got 5 more to go between, and the next one is drum roll.
We've just rolled 3 6s in a row.
4 6s in a row. We might have to.
A 5.
Number 5, finally. Right, coffee and hot chocolate machines of football. Again, this is not as. This is something that was it Ian left us in one of the comments. That you know more about this. Talk to me. What is the main issue? Gripe? What is the talking point?
Ian's a big foodie at football.
Yeah, he is.
He's had you on the burgers, like trying to get some reviews, different places, and he's always trying a burger everywhere he goes.
Right.
So when we went into Newmarket's ground recently, he was absolutely bowled over by the fact that there was a Toshiba coffee machine.
Right.
vending.
Okay.
So you didn't queue if you didn't want to. You didn't queue at the like cafeteria type window for your coffee, which I think they were serving in mugs there, which is like 10 points straight away. Ipswich Wanderers do that as well, so another 10 points. You could just go inside and get like a paper cup with a lid,
right?
Pay your £1.50, and bang, straight away back out the door with it. Took all the queue away from the food area, and all the coffee was inside with the bar where other people were getting drinks. Which is great because you're not going out the way whilst your mates are getting a pint if you're the person that's driving.
Okay.
You're still all together.
Okay.
The machine, I decided to do some research on because I was an absolute geek about it.
Well, that was going to be my kind of point, that I understand why a particular machine would be quite a nice idea, but cost-wise for a football club, that's a non-league level. Surely that's an expense they can kind of do with that and just let...
The machine is free.
Oh.
This is the thing. You just have to commit this floor space to have the machine in and commit to selling a certain amount of coffee per month, and it isn't a lot. So it's effectively under a lease where they take a profit share of however much you sell. So it might be that they take 50% of what goes through.
Right, okay.
So your margins on the coffee reduce, but the amount you can sell and the way it frees up and logistically makes things run it's a no-brainer.
Right. Interesting.
Like one of the main things that you see people at, like especially at non-league, is a hot drink.
Yeah, those winter months can be tough.
Yeah, it's a difficult job, but everyone just seems to love a coffee. At half time and stuff. But the speed that thing was vending at, like Margaret down the local, she's not going to be pouring her coffees at the same
good old Margaret
at the same pace that machine was. So because it's a way of like improving the general logistics and infrastructure at the club and getting things moving quicker, I never felt like there were any queues or anything building up. It kept everything running quite smoothly.
But again, does that then take away from the personal touch of the fact that non-league football is getting to know the volunteers, and if you take away the coffee and tea section and move it into somewhere where it's another machine, does that not
100% it does.
So you kind of got to weigh out the pros and cons, because that is the whole benefit of non-league, is that you know the people that you're dealing with. But if there's going to be a cost and a time saver for you, where's the it'd be interesting to actually have a look at something like that in proper detail.
Yeah, I mean the actual company Toshiba, they've got their own, like for any clubs out there that are interested in this as a thing, the whole details of the leasing of the machines and everything are all available, like really open source on their website. And for people listening that are fans, I'd be interested in knowing how much you'd probably be drawn to just very quickly running in, getting a coffee that's just banged out of a machine and being back at the game, rather than having to wait quite as long, because that puts me off bothering to spend money anyway.
Right, okay.
I'm put off spending money on food and drink at the game because I've got a queue and potentially miss stuff. If I know I can just dart in, quickly get something out of the machine and be back out, and I've only lost £1.50 out of my pocket for the convenience of it, I'd be all over it.
Well, let us know in the comment section whether or not that would be something you'd be in favour of at non-league football, because again, there's pros and cons to it. I mean, obviously, potentially you lose a little bit of profit margin, which might affect the club in terms of some income that they get. But the speed and the service you can get is a lot quicker. Would you mind? Let us know. It's one of those topics that you don't really think about, but it is important.
I think the food and drink
for non-league football
is massively important for non-league football.
Yeah,
like
it is.
It can be a big thing, but it depends on, you are limited to the structure of the club. So you may outsource the catering to someone else, and they've got the monopoly on it. You may do it all internally, and it goes out. It just depends. In my head, I'm thinking, surely this situation would suit the smaller clubs, like those clubs in SIL that use facilities, that they could get that too quickly, and it would just improve the matchday experience for people that go along to watch.
Yep.
And then the flip side in my mind is, do they really get enough people through the doors to be able to commit to what the company would need?
This is the thing.
For Newmarket, that ground is used all week long. Cambridge City are in there using the academy because their facilities are so good.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's probably raking extra money in that they never even had access to before.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's an idea. If it means that you can possibly earn more money or earn money in a different way, I think it's an idea that needs to be discussed and thought about.
If you're interested and you are a club that's watching this, let us know down in the comment section, because Adam can hook you up with the kind of details on the website.
I've got loads of stuff
as well, because he knows more about it than what I do. But yeah, let us know. Next topic, we've got 4 big ones now. These are the 4 big main topics and talking points and discussions for tonight's agenda. What have we got?
We've got number 3.
Importance of social media in non-league. Right.
This is your...
Here we go. I'm going to put the link, I'm going to put the image rather of the tweet that I put out a couple of weeks ago, where I was talking about it's still, we're 2019, and it absolutely baffles me how some clubs have still not managed to get hold of the social media and how important it is. Now, I'm just going to put this fact and point out there before I go off on a rant. I understand volunteers have to run a social media platform for a non-league club. It's not always easy to juggle that with everything else. So I get that, and I'm not having a pop at volunteers. However, it is massively, massively important that you get your social media on point nowadays. The days of advertising in the local paper and word of mouth are gone. They're completely and utterly gone. You have to be online and on social media in terms of Twitter. I'm talking maybe not necessarily Facebook, but on Instagram, on Snapchat, all that kind of stuff like that. You've got to be on point with it. Otherwise, you fall behind clubs massively. I mean, we've seen, and we talked about it very briefly last time, about Caversham, who have gone from being a club that were going bust to being talked about in massive social media numbers. What's the club that they've recently started talking to? Massive club.
I'm sure it's like FC Köln or someone ridiculous in Germany have started backing them hugely.
Yeah.
Roma backed them massively.
That's the one. Roma backed them. Roma are talking about a team that nearly went into administration.
Yeah, they nearly folded, and they then nominate them, I think, as their team of the day. Like
there you go.
They can turn it round like that just with effective usage of social media. That usage of social media has got them out there with the guy at Kitbox who sponsored them, did a shirt competition and designed one of the finest shirts I've ever seen, and it's for a Sunday League club. It's like the little hookups and links that you can get are brilliant. I mean, what I'll say about it is that saying that you do social media is not Facebook. Facebook is dead. Like,
true.
Facebook is not a platform for football, and for everything there, like the reach just isn't there for that kind of thing. I don't think.
No, true.
But then with Twitter, it's just so accessible for people to have a look. But then you get onto a whole different platform that you can have a Twitter account, and then you've got the people that just occasionally post an update about the club. Yeah. Then you've got people that say, "Oh, we've got a game this weekend, so come down if you can. Like, let's try and boost the attendance."
Yep.
And then they might post the score at the end.
Yep.
And
which is fine.
Then you've got those that do the updates every minute of the game, basically.
Yep.
And then the ones that I'm starting to find now that I really like is where you've got non-league clubs that are doing the goal gifts and like you've got all this like real club interaction, which means that it feels like you know the club that little bit more. You've got those personal touches that go with it. These things cost money, like I don't doubt it.
No. If you really want to boost your profile, you do have to put a lot of money in behind it to get something out of it. But that's most things in life, to be honest. But the sponsorship things you can get from it, the interactions you can get from it, the fan interaction is so important. Building that community of people that want to come back to it because they know that there's something exciting going on at that particular football club. And look, I'll be completely honest. There have been so many games, and especially last season, where I thought, right, I really want to go and visit them. They're doing quite well in the league, or they may be struggling. I want to go and cover one of their games. They're not on social media, so I'm not going. And it might be harsh to the players that are playing for that particular club, but I've got to be able to have that interaction with the people who are running the club in terms of the social media and the profiling in order to promote and talk about the content that I'm doing.
I really struggle with that. Like clubs at step 5 that still haven't quite latched onto it yet. They maybe have an account, but they do nothing with it. Or they rely on other people, the fans, and then just retweet stuff back through. There's no direct club ownership of it. There's like Thetford. I think a lot of what they do is run by a few fans. That do a lot. Thetford have got some incredible volunteers at that club in terms of people that film their games and put stuff out there. But then if you compare that with, that's where you're having to use people and their time. Other clubs have got people that are media managers, and that's the difference.
This is exactly it. If you've got the funds to be able to do it, you've got to utilise it. But if not, even if it's just volunteer run, just trying to build up some sort of hype about what's going on in the club, about a big game that's coming up on the weekend, or just any sort of promotional thing, it will go a massive way in terms of helping you out. I mean, I've seen a couple of teams again who aren't active on it, who just retweet the team they're playing against and their updates. And that
a
that
team
kind of
like that I'd like to bring attention to for social media this summer has been Witten.
I agree with that.
They've done it so well.
Up their game this summer.
So I think they were quite quiet last season. You got a bit out of them as to what was happening, but I noticed that in games they'd often retweet what other teams said, like the team they were playing against. When they've done their like transfer announcements and stuff like that, they've not only announced the transfer, but they've then done like a mini snippet of an interview as to what the manager said about it. And all of a sudden, I feel like I'm buying into what he's doing. I'm not a Witten fan by any means, but I'm buying into it because I know why they've made the move. They're teasing stuff out. Sheringham today.
That was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. If you haven't seen it, I'll put something on the screen right now. It was so funny.
They put out a tweet about a signing, and it's just absolutely on point. It's what they need to do.
Hilarious.
And it just shows how, at low level, a bit of humour and a bit of professionalism in owning social media doesn't get the buy-in of just your fans. It means people around you watch and take notice of what's happening. I think that's invaluable.
And sponsors will want to get on board with you more if they know that you've got something to offer them. And it's that is a simple fact. That's where the money is. That is where the money is.
Can I say something else on it?
Go on, him.
I'd be more likely to go to an away game with Stowmarket, for instance, if I knew the team that we were playing, I knew more about them.
Would you?
I feel like I'd be generally more excited about it.
Right.
If I know nothing about where I'm going, I can't get that excited.
No, I know.
It's like getting on the hype train a bit.
Yeah.
You've built up with this team all season long. It's like they've done this, they've done that. I know this about them. I know that about them. Let's go and see how that works. Let's go and see what that looks like.
I know what you mean.
And I can't be alone in feeling like that. There must be other people that want to go and look just because of what they've heard.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it comes back to my point I said that, earlier on, I won't go to a football club that haven't got any social media profile. And it's harsh. It's people are probably going to, go against, are going to say something bad about me for it, but I just refuse to do it because I like to have contact before I go. I'd like to speak to the club and know who I'm dealing with and who I'm talking to, and I like to get that buy-in from a club. I want to get to know the people I'm talking to. I don't want to just rock up and just go, right, here I am, guys.
I'm going to start filming.
I'm going to start filming,
yeah. It's not right, is it?
No, it's not right. And, I've got to be able to have that interaction with people. So, if their clubs aren't on social media, I just won't go because I don't feel comfortable going in blind to a situation. But we'll leave it at that, shall we?
I think it's an interesting discussion. I don't know I'll be honest, I don't know what solution we've proved in it other than kind of airing our views on it a little bit. I'm a long way off saying you have to have social media, because if you feel you can build your reputation elsewhere, fine. Just please don't do it by Facebook.
Maybe the furlough num can introduce a rule next year. If you haven't got social media and you're not active on it, you're
talking about social media.
You get relegated.
Furlough num. You need to up your game, because I tell you what, that's been. We're asking other clubs. Sometimes the leagues.
Yeah, and you know what? In all fairness, the SIL have upped their game over the summer. They've gone for a complete revamp of what they're doing. And,
website's good.
Yeah, the website's good. Twitter's getting better.
I mean, the Furlough Num League website got hacked last year and redirected to some Chinese car thing. So they haven't had an easy time.
Not good. So. Pull your finger out, guys. That's the long and short of it. I don't know whether or not we actually mean it in that way, but I'm going to say it. Whatever. Next topic. Felixstowe exodus.
Number 4.
We talked about Leiston last week and the fact that a lot of their teams and players seem to have been moving on, and somebody quite rightly made a comment saying, well, you're talking about that, but what about Felixstowe?
Yeah, I was just going to try and pull up some tweets on my phone to have a look. Now, I follow Felixstowe on Twitter, they're a local club and everything. So Felixstowe got promoted first season at Step 4 last season.
Was it the first time ever?
I couldn't confirm that.
It's the first time in a long time, isn't it? At that particular level.
They playing in Step 5. They already had the facilities of a club greater than where they were, in my opinion. So getting promoted, they were fit for it. They were good. They had a reasonably good crowd behind them. Like, they were getting big attendances.
Yeah, they are.
And I felt pretty confident of their chances at Step 4.
Yep.
I would say. I don't know what went on last season. Like, they spent money in improving the ground even further, and I tell you what, it's nice. Like,
oh god, yeah, the facilities at Felixstowe are incredible. Aren't they?
Ipswich ladies play there, so they've got a good base to work with as well, like in terms of what they're using it for. But that's a ground that's exemplary for the level and everything. From what I've seen. Now, the issue over the back end of last season, we saw results tail off for them.
It's true.
They had a huge hype to get 1,000 at the Gold Star ground. I can't remember what it was. So they were going to try and get 1,000 supporters to a game. And I turned round to you and I confidently said, I think this is going to be a big moment in local football towards the end of last season. I said Felixstowe are going to get over 1,000 people in this ground. And like, it's a fairly local game. I think they're playing Mildenhall, who at the time were bottom of the table. I said it's going to be a really good day. It's something I'd probably quite like to be a part of, but I couldn't. I was busy, and they got nowhere near. And it was like the interest tailed off a bit at the end of the season because not much was really going to happen. Like, they had all this, they were giving away free tickets to help out and stuff in like a Willy Wonka style draw.
That was really cool.
And now over summer, just before the end of the season, Joe Francis and I think it's Ethan Clark announced they're leaving, and then more and more and more faces have just drifted and gone.
It does seem to be happening on quite a regular basis, doesn't it?
It's like one a week.
We're sad to announce that, and you just see another one has gone. It does seem to be. Because the Leiston one, we could kind of put it down to the travel distance. Do you know what I mean? There's potentially a genuine reason as to why people are wanting to go. But Felixstowe...
the travel isn't as bad.
It's not as bad. Felixstowe is relatively easy to get to from the Ipswich area, from surrounding areas as well.
They're in a good progressive position.
Good league, good facilities, better than good actually for this particular level. You talked about it just briefly there. The club has got better facilities than the league, it said.
That's
no disrespect to the league. It's a genuine
It's a
fact.
Yeah.
But something is happening, and we've seen. If you saw a lot of players leaving, you kind of think, well, maybe they're just going for a bit of a rebuilding job. Maybe there's something there. There's a plan there. But we started noticing it when we saw people replying to certain tweets, going, "What is going on with the club?"
Yeah. So
there was a lot of fans making some noise
yesterday. Rhys Henry left.
Yeah.
And they're sort of thanking him, but he's gone on to join Leiston. Which is interesting. So he's making a step up, and Leiston have got a big building job, but they're turning round to it on the comments and saying, "Have we got any players left?"
Yeah, it's quite worrying.
Why are they all going? Then someone else has replied, "Definitely requires an answer. Maybe other clubs are offering better pay and conditions." Now,
maybe
I don't think that's just it.
No, that can't be it. I mean, maybe the club has spent the money that they have got on making sure that the foundations in the club itself is in a good position.
Yeah.
But when you have fans of a club who know what's going on start chirping up and saying, "Hang on, something is going on here. Something is not right," it's cause for concern. And as a local football fan, I want to see Felixstowe doing well. I want to see them.
Well, Alex is there as well, isn't he? Alex Eggleton is stepping up to a coaching role in the first team, and
big up Alex.
Yeah, I like Alex a lot from talking to him, and I'd want to see him succeed next year.
Yeah,
and
maybe
he's
got
a big job on his hands.
Maybe we should have got an inside source from him before we.
Maybe we can try and get somebody on one week as a little idea. I don't know if you're interested in coming on for a chat, be it a fan or anyone else. Let us know.
Let us know. That would be interesting. But if anybody from Felixstowe wants to answer what is happening, or if any fan has any sort of inkling as to what's going on, I mean, that said, there might be a bigger picture happening here. We don't know.
I'd like to dig deeper.
We don't know. We would like to understand what is going on here. So if you are involved in the club, let us know. But as I said, it does worry me a bit because I like Felixstowe. I've been there quite a few times. We've enjoyed all of our experiences there. The club is run so well. It's lovely people. It's amazing facilities.
I always have a joke about Felixstowe and say, I'm going to turn up and listen to 90 minutes of Seasiders, and but their fans are great. Like they always get proper involved and stuff.
They are a good laugh.
It's like they are a good bunch, and it's always good to see a lot of people turn up. It's a silly call and it's early, but it would terrify me to see them get relegated with the facilities they've got.
Yeah.
I've gone through the timeline. They have signed players, and there's some players there that I don't know too much about. Someone's actually come in tonight who was on loan with them last season. He's been released from Ipswich, and he's come in. It's Henry Barley that's come in. So I don't know. I think they're in for quite a shaky season next year because they are starting again, but they're in step 4, and it's not like.
I think
it's not as easy as it to rebuild as you start climbing.
No,
things get a lot harder. The more you climb, the more difficult it gets. It's a footballing pyramid for a reason, and you need some unity and some reliability, I guess, as you go up.
Yeah.
There were tweets as well that needed to get people out the door who weren't going to buy into the philosophy of everything as well. Like some of them seemed a little bit snipey. It seems like there is some internal politics in between things that have been said. But if they want to build a team that are all wanting to be on the same page, everyone's got to get along. Yeah. So that may mean that it is actually best for those people to move on, to become progressive.
Yeah.
So there may be some of that in this as well.
But again, that's just purely chat and speculation.
Oh, 100%.
We're not criticising the people that have left because we don't know. We don't know.
We don't know their genuine reasons.
We genuinely don't know. So let us know. As I said, if you're associated with Felixstowe, or you are the club, because we're going to tag you in, obviously, to say that we've talked about you, let us know. It'll be really interesting to hear what is going on. There might be a bigger plan.
What do you think for James next year? Prediction? It's a tricky league anyway.
I think, to be honest, from what I know, the people that have gone are the more experienced players.
Yes.
Is that kind of right?
Yeah, 100%.
I was talking to a couple of Felixstowe fans when I went to the semi-final against Stowe, and they were kind of basically describing to me and saying that the youth that came in towards the end of the season actually picked up the experienced guys who were struggling and getting used to the new league. So it could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
That those experienced players who have served the club very well are now actually on their way out. So I don't know. It's always difficult because you imagine rebuilding and you would say, right, if you guys can finish mid-table whilst you are rebuilding, that's a perfect season. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult. I think, to be honest,
it comes back to not knowing expectations of the club, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like they might be saying, do you know what? We've spent all this money on a new stand for you guys, and there's a bit of money that's gone into wages. We expect promotion.
Time to deliver. But I think the big thing for them is that they cannot get relegated. That's as simple as that. With the facilities that those guys have got, stay in the division, and anything else you do is a bonus. I think that's probably my assessment of it. But again, what do I know? I'm just.
Maybe they'll be at a Super League playoff and they'll take us all by surprise or whatever it is.
Yeah, you never know.
This time next year.
You never know. So we've got 2 topics to talk about. The final 2 topics to talk about. What have we got? So we've got 3G pitches or pre-season prices. So which one do you want to go for? Because your dice has been rolling 4 and 6 for the past 5 minutes.
If it was Monopoly, I'd quite want this die.
It would be great dice.
Yeah.
Which one should we talk about? Should we talk about pre-season prices?
Yeah, okay.
We'll leave the 3G pitches as the last topic of discussion. Pre-season prices was... We had a comment come through, and again, it'll be on the screen right now, talking about should clubs... Should clubs...
We need a picture of a cub to come in now.
Should they introduce either a free trial membership for fans during pre-season where this is what we've got on offer, this is what we're going to be doing throughout the course of the season. If you like it, come back and spend more money on it. Or should clubs be charging admission prices for football? Because I'm not going to lie, I turned up to the Needham Market game expecting to pay a £5 the other day to get in to watch the reserves, and it was free.
Okay.
I was really chuffed with it, to be honest. And not going to lie, it kind of made me want to go back and watch it again. It did kind of give me that boost of, yeah, actually I quite like that. That's a good idea. But from a club's perspective, it's money lost.
I categorically think that if you just put pre-season friendly, free entry, people will come down, people will pay on the bar. You're making money somewhere else. Yeah. But the problem that modern football's creating is that more people are getting paid money and there are higher outgoings.
Yeah.
Bills are rising. Like, without wanting to go into the economics of it, general costs are increasing.
Yeah.
So the clubs are not a charity.
No.
They still have to balance their books. So I would love to be able to say, I believe that we should just get in for free because it's pre-season. I don't feel like I can be that entitled.
No.
I appreciate everything else that goes in, and if it means that I pay a bit of money to get in, fine. What I don't want to be doing is paying what I do to get into a league match for a friendly. At that point, you've lost me. Yeah.
Maybe clubs should do the pay what you want structure for pre-season. Because you have those kind of days where you're like, we're not going to charge you for the full prices of this particular day. To try and get fans in, it's going to be a pay as you want.
Yeah.
Kind of, if you want to put a £5 in, if you want to stick at the full price of a tenner in, if you want to give us £1, that's absolutely fine. Maybe that should be the rule on pre-season, is that you determine the price yourself. So if you're playing a reserve team for one friendly, you can give a couple of £. But if you've got a big non-league team or a big league team coming to you as a really special treat, you wouldn't mind sticking a tenner in to watch certain players playing. I think that might be the solution to all of it.
I don't feel like there's a need to profiteer from friendlies, but I understand there's always a need to cover some basic costs.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I can really say I would be on board with the Netflix style free trial. Everyone come down to the club and see what you think.
Yeah, I'm not 100% buying that.
I'm not quite sure how it would work as well. But what I do think needs to happen is that kids under 16 are free.
What, for pre-season, or do you
Full
mean
stop.
everywhere?
Starts at pre-season, and we get them in. Under 16s don't pay in non-league football.
Oh, big call.
And I think if
call.
it starts early, it starts at pre-season, you get people along, you're getting the future generations into the game. And you're getting the parents come along who will pay a bit of money to bring their kids on a day out. And if only one of them pays on a family basis, you know, if it's a mum or a dad coming with son or daughter, it doesn't have to cost as much for a day out. And you get 2 people through the door, so a can of Coke at the bar, some chips at half time. You will get the money elsewhere, but you also get the buy-in and the interest in the football from a young age, and you build the community further. That needs to start now.
That's bold. I like it. What do you think? What do you make of that? That's a good call.
That's my compromise on it. But I strictly do not think that we live in an economy where we can get away with adults just wandering in free to sort of step 5 and 6 games.
Yeah. Let us know.
Pre-season.
Let us know. That's a smart idea. Well done.
Thanks.
I would tip my hat off to you if I had a hat. Final topic.
Okay.
3G pitches.
Yep. Knee breakers.
Well, this is the counter. This is the argument that it ruins your knees, it ruins your ankles, it ruins everything.
Causes cancer. That was the thing that came out last year.
Oh yeah. Was that ever
rubber crumb.
Was that ever proven to be true?
Well, I think it was a pretty comprehensive study that the rubber was cancerous. Yes.
Really?
No, genuinely.
Are you being serious?
No, I genuinely think it is a thing. Yeah. I think because it was a big thing at the time.
Then surely 3G pitches would be banned up and down the country.
No, they wouldn't, because everything you touch is cancerous, isn't it? These days, that's part of the society we live in. Like you can't eat too much meat because
you must be scared.
Yeah, literally.
Scared of everything.
So now we're getting onto scared of exercise, which is the thing that we're not meant to be scared of.
Maybe we should do that as a new channel.
It's a circle of life.
Maybe we should do that as a new section of the channel. What to be scared of this week.
Let's see what the most ridiculous thing is that we can find to be scared of.
I didn't know about that article. That's interesting.
Yeah. I'm not going to provide a link to it or anything.
No, God no.
Search it and find it. But
yeah,
it is a thing.
Yeah.
It genuinely is a thing, right?
Okay.
But 3G pitches are the evolution of the old, well, the first generation AstroTurf that we played on as we grew up, is shred your knees. Where I've seen people wear skateboarding knee pads to go in goal to protect themselves. Like it's getting more and more. I've even heard the brand 4G pitch.
Yeah,
I don't even understand what that means.
I'm not sure. I think it's some sort of grass and synthetic hybrid.
So these
kind
pitches,
like a gas and electric car.
So what we're going from is having actual real material to something that isn't, but is the closest thing to it in the way it responds. That's what 3G is to clubs.
I was about to make a really inappropriate comment there, but I'm not going
because
to.
I'm cupping.
No.
Oh, okay, fine.
No.
So, yes.
Not because of that.
I'm gesticulating on my hands for anyone that can only listen right now. It's a good word.
I thought you said something else there, but I'm not going to go into it. This could become a very smutty podcast.
Non-league Nosh. Yeah, thanks for sending that in. Urban Dictionary.
Someone sent that in and was like, no, that was not the meaning of the podcast. Let's move on. So
let's get back to 3G pitches.
Yeah, so the pros are the fact that during the winter months, the material and the pitch will last.
Providing youths don't burn it.
Providing the youths don't burn it.
This is one of my first arguments against it.
What, the youths will burn it?
You see how much vandalism in 3G pitches gets ridiculous.
Really?
People are idiots these days.
What is wrong with you lot?
Honestly,
not you, but
I've on various accounts that I've seen that I'm connected to through the website account. The amount of times I've seen someone drive a car onto a 3G pitch and just set light to it and stuff because it melts.
Idiot. So you've got the fact that the pitch lasts, apart from burning. In terms of a cost exercise, it's fantastic for clubs. They can hire out the facilities, use it in the local community. Yeah. Income's another one of those things. It just seems that there's more benefits of a club in terms of long term than having to manage the pitch on a regular basis. Because, I mean, we've seen it at Stowe, haven't we, where you've got about 4 or 5 teams every week playing on that particular pitch. By November, it's completely cut up and ruined. It looks perfect on the first game of the season, but Christ above, by December, it's completely and utterly ruined.
There might be people that go to Stowe watching this, and I'm not going to hide away from it. Like, there were weeks where I knew who was roughly planned to play on the pitch, and I was kind of thinking, I hope they don't let X play on it Thursday or Tuesday night, because then it might mean that the game on Saturday for the first team is off.
Yeah.
And I've got Saturday off, and I know that I can turn up to the first team game, and I really want to go to that match. And you're protecting the pitch the whole time for the next people, because the surfaces at that level and the investment that you can put into them, they can't handle that amount of games.
No, they can't.
You look at Ipswich, Portman Road, that can't handle one game a week sometimes.
True.
So
True.
What are we... I don't think we have facilities that can cater for the amount of football that's happening. 3G pitches are a great idea, but local authorities need to get on board with installing them in towns.
Yeah,
they come at a massive cost, though, to help the general footballing population of the town. So I think they're great, but I'm not so sure about first team football on grass for me.
Well, how Needham have got it set up is perfect. The first team play on the main pitch, the rest of the teams play on the 3G, apart from the occasional reserve midweek game, but we'll bypass that. The initial cost to get it set up is ridiculous.
It's monstrous.
It's a massive, massive thing, and I'm not going to quote the figures that Needham Market told me, but Christ above, it shocked me.
You won't be building one in your garden?
I will not be building one in my garden, no. I might be able to get like a metre of it.
Seriously, I got some AstroTurf put down in the garden in the last house that we had, and that wasn't cheap.
No.
It's only about 2 by 3 metres.
The cost of it is extortionate. The damage it can potentially do to people's joints and muscles, the amount of injuries we've heard of and seen that people talk about. I mean, I've played on 3G a couple of times, and I have to admit, it did hurt the knees a lot. It did hurt the knees, and that could just be me being just unbelievably unfit, was what I was going to say. But
do you know why that concerns me more at this level?
Why?
It comes back to a point I made last week about players. This isn't what their bread and butter. Like, football's a great thing for them to do. You mess someone's knees up, you've messed their livelihood up.
Potentially, yeah. Unless you sit at an office all day, then potentially, yeah.
But it gets games on.
Yeah.
You don't go a month where you can't play because the weather's been so bad.
Oh yeah, I mean the amount of times that during the course of the season you get to like November time and the under-18s games get called off all the time. The reserves get called off all the time.
When we had like Snowmageddon the year before last or whatever it was. Like, I don't know if I saw any football for best part of 2 months. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, true. There's pros and cons to either side. I mean, all in all, and I want you guys to get involved in this as well. Are you a fan of it, Adam? Yes or no to 3G pitches?
From a greedy perspective, I'm only for them so that I can watch more football.
Right.
I'm against them for the fact that I think they'll cause injuries to people that they won't need. It's such an investment that honestly, I'm not sure if that's sustainable for clubs. Like the financial investment up front. If you can get it backed by local authorities and stuff and get the grants to do it, then I think you should get it put down to develop football, but maybe not at first team level. I don't know.
It's difficult. It's difficult because so many National League teams have got 3G pitches, and
in Russia, it's like all they play on, isn't it?
Yeah, but the National League teams know that they can't get promoted whilst they've got that facility there. Yeah, and it's kind of like, well, are you thinking about the long-term aim of the club, or do you just want a short-term promotion? What's your kind of aims on that side of it? You definitely have an advantage of having a 3G pitch. I mean, when away teams come along to your ground, it does help when they haven't played on that particular surface. You've seen the contrast in forms of certain teams who have got...
Newmarket are the only team in the Fellow Nut Prem that have got one.
Yeah.
When I went to watch Stowe there last season, it kind of suited them down to the ground. They just knew how to play on it. Yeah, exactly.
I'm for it. I really, despite the fact I've made complaints about what happened to my knees, I just think if you can secure the funding, the long-term benefits of a football club having it are incredible, and having seen the game I've recently seen, the first match of the season where it was on a 3G pitch, I don't think either side complained about it.
No,
they both enjoyed playing on it. They both liked it.
The only thing that worries me is that in my mind, you lay down a 3G pitch, you pay several £100,000 to get it down there, probably more, and then you walk away from it and say, there you go, play on that for 10 years. I bet you every single summer you have to pay a ton of money to comb it or do something with it.
I think you do have to maintain it.
Yeah, and so there's still cost there. And I know that grounds need a groundsman and everything else, so they are slightly more autonomous and they look after themselves. But I can't quite buy into the fact that it's not football on grass.
I think that's a lot of problem. People's issue is the fact that traditionalists will prefer.
Yeah,
the
bounce
pitch.
and stuff like that is just not normal.
No.
And
no, it's not.
Everyone knows
it's
that football gets played in the air these days.
Yeah. So, as I said, let us know what you think about it. Are you for or against 3G pitches? It's a very controversial topic within non-league football. It does get discussions going. Let us know what you make of it.
Do you know what a 4G pitch is?
Let us know, because we don't. We don't know.
What did a 2G pitch look like?
No, I've got nothing.
No,
I've got nothing.
No idea.
I've got nothing. Let us know. So we've talked about a number of things. We talked about the Trialist. We talked about the tea and coffee machines. What's going on at Felixstowe, social medias, price and tickets, and also the 3G pitches. If you want to get involved in any of those discussions, leave it down in the comment section. The comments that you guys leave on YouTube help boost the video in terms of who gets to see it and what kind of audience it reaches. So if you can leave a comment on there, that'd be really appreciated. Or if you just want to reply to us on Twitter and we can get back to you, really quickly, let us know.
We'll try and tag as many clubs into the tweet out as well for the promotion of this that we've mentioned today, because we have actually brought quite a few different clubs into our discussion today. So if you've got anything to do with those clubs, just give this a retweet, because by us trying to answer questions, I feel like we've raised more questions. Today, because our discussion has led to different points that we need to articulate a bit more.
Boris Johnson 2.0.
Literally. Yeah.
Can't answer a simple question. We just invite more questions.
Yes. Yeah.
We'd be good at politics.
Well, anyone can be better than what that thing is.
Anyway, we'll move on. Thank you very much, guys, for taking the time to listen and watch the second episode. It really, really does mean a lot. We've been blown away by the support. Thank you very, very much. If you are new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We've got matchday experiences, we have interviews, we have ground hopping, and we've got the podcast now on the channel. There's so much happening this season. It'll be fantastic to get your support. Leave a thumbs up. If you do leave a thumbs down, let us know in the comment section why you put a thumbs down. Is it just that you didn't like the video? Do you not agree with a certain comment that we made? Let us know. We do want to know.
Tell us what you think of it.
Yeah.
And if you think that our voices are boring and we look miserable, then we'll try and have more lively voices and look more excited.
How could you be mad at that beautiful little face? See,
for anyone that's only listening, that's going to be a really weird part of the podcast. But this whole YouTube Premium thing where you can lock your phone and Can you imagine being at the gym and listening to that last little bit? Yeah, it's going to be. It'd freak you out a little bit, wouldn't it? Anyway, thank you very much for taking the time to watch it. And until next time, as always on the channel, adios. Adios.